Oh my god, why? In the new patch, they didn't nerf Harken at all, which kind of disappointed me. Harken, in my opinion, is by far the most overpowered killer in the entire game. In concept, she won't seem good, but in gameplay, for some reason, she absolutely destroys lobbies. It's possible to wipe out an entire lobby in 1 minute if you have your Enrage mode. So this video is just a rant about how overpowered Harken is, and I think she desperately needs a nerf. First, let's talk about her noise meter. Every time you hit a civilian with one of your moves, or a civilian does almost any action at all, she gains noise. At the bottom of the screen, there's a bar with a number. Every move does a select few of noise. Once this noise meter is filled, she gets enraged, dealing a lot of damage quickly. All of her attacks, I believe, do like 25% more damage, so you don't want to make too much noise. Harken is the only killer that limits you from using your abilities. Do you know how unfair it can be to shoot her and stun her, maybe saving your teammates, and she gets enraged and one shot? Like, she basically blocks off your cards if you want to play safe, and this is already a problem. Being able to disable cards like that is an insane feat no other killer can do. You get punished for hitting your moves. This is in our calm state, by the way, so she doesn't do much damage at all. But what does that matter? Because she gets noise from doing damage! What? Are we serious? Existing makes Harken mad. You cannot breathe without Harken getting her noise meter up. Taking damage should absolutely not be increasing her noise meter. Let's talk about her moves and stop with her passive. Harken has 4 moves, and let's talk about her first move, Agitation. Harken stands still for half a second, then punches the air, bringing up these spike thingies. At their base, they do 15 damage. This move is just kind of good. One thing I should say is that her calm phase is kind of bad, but you won't be staying in it for long, so yeah. For the move itself, it isn't the best. It gets way better in a rage state, don't worry, but for a calm phase, it's just kind of a range move that does no damage. Her second move is Tangle. Harken throws out a spear that, if hit, heals the civilian for 15 health and Harken for 50 health. However, the civilian now takes 25% more damage done to them at all times unless Harken is either stunned or they get too far away. Look, man, this is pretty overpowered in my opinion. As long as you avoid going near punchers and revolvers, you basically get a free 25% damage on all your attacks. Not only that, in her Enrage mode, she does 31 damage if the chain is connected. Yeah, 31. This is more damage than Cleave, which is Pursuer's best move, in NM1. So you could be hitting this every few seconds, doing up to 120 damage in 7 seconds. 7 seconds! Okay, why? Just why? Doing this much damage in just a matter of seconds without being punished is absolutely broken. Not only that, healing Harken herself is also a massive thing that should be talked about more. Harken has basically 2 flaws I will cover, and one of those flaws is, well, having 400 HP, which is pretty terrible. Healing yourself is essential to keep yourself alive, and if you're consistent with this move, it can be kind of hard to die sometimes, unless it's just all guns and punches. But Gunslinger, it's over. Harken is by far the worst killer at Gunslinger. If you get stunned once and the entire lobby is like right next to you, they could just shoot you and it's just over. Her fourth and final move is Immolate. Harken impales herself and does 80 damage to herself immediately and 20 damage over time. But it gives a massive chunk to your noise meter. This move isn't that great, and you most likely will only use it 1 to 2 times per round, so it's meh, I guess? I don't know. Let's talk about the star of the show, her Enrage state. Basically, Enrage mode gives Harken a massive speed boost, gives her a damage multiplier, but reduces her spin to 94. Yay golly, I love how she basically gets no nerfs and gets the most broken damage multiplier ever, am I right? Yay golly, I love how this damage can be up to almost 40% the original damage. It does think that Harken's low health makes up for this, but if I'm being honest, it really doesn't. Unless you have 8 gunslingers jumping you all at the same time, you should be fine considering you can heal. So, what I just said was my opinion, but I made a community poll about Harken, and I asked, does Harken need nerfs? And surprisingly, a lot of people said she doesn't, so let's read some of the comments. Nerf? Hell no, she needs a whole buff because most maps are bad for her due to looping and her moves either requiring aim or get countered by simple stuff. What? Sure, agitation is hard to hit, but she isn't map dependent. Well, for the most part, looping can be a problem sometimes, but if you really think about it, not really. Since most of the time, there will only be one civilian you're going after, your noise meter will not be scaling anymore, and it's a lot easier to get enraged with impaling yourself. If you are low, that's just your fault. Just don't get stunned. And before LMS, get some healing maybe by catching someone off guard with your tangle but not killing him. Also, what do you mean by simple stuff? For what I'm thinking right now, the only thing that counters her is Revolver and Punch, because those are the only two dealing damage cards in the game. To be completely honest, no, because her calm mode is just really useless and you can loop her without using any abilities to win. That's my point! It's gonna be so easy to kill civilians if you don't use your moves, and if you do, she gets enraged! Looping is also not a problem normally because you can always just go after someone else, but I think you can loop a Harkin pretty easily, but she can counter that in a lot of ways. Also, I will say this now, we are basing this off of the average public server, something you will come across. No server will ever be as coordinated as 2 people on a call, but that's different. This is the second thing Harkin is terrible at, coordinated teams. Unless Harkin is a god at dodging 15 bullets, if he gets stunned once and everyone on the team agrees to go Revolver, it's gonna be hard. This is Harkin's biggest flaw. However, you won't see this most of the time due to public servers being stupid. So most of all these looping points are kind of rare. Now let's talk about what I think she should be nerfed on. I don't think her enraged M1 with Tangle should do 31 damage. That's crazy. Lower it to like 29 or 28. Don't make her noise meter go up while she's attacking someone. Like, taking damage shouldn't make noise. And finally, nerf her enrage state so she can't be in it for more than like 3 minutes. I've seen people in their enrage state for the entire round just wiping lobbies, and it's not fun. With those minimal changes, Harkin becomes a lot more balanced. Anyways, yeah, that's basically it. Everything I said is just my opinion, so go flame me in the comments and tell me your opinion. Subscribe.